Get ready for Season 4 of The Restless Ones, an original podcast presented by T-Mobile for Business and iHeartRadio. Join me as I sit down for in-depth discussions with the people at the intersection of technology and business. You'll learn how each of these leaders is building a bridge to what's next and leveraging transformative technologies like 5G to create a more connected and meaningful future today. Listen to The Restless Ones, available on the iHeartRadio app, Apple Podcasts, or wherever you listen to podcasts.
I'm the Wizard of Oz. I'm the one making everything happen.
Real Housewife of Salt Lake City star Jen Shaw is running the scam of the century.
I remember one time Stuart lost like about $8 million. Jen was very upset and she came down to the office late at night with Coach, yelling and screaming at him, asking him where their money is.
Listen to Queen of the Con, Season 4, The Unreal Housewife, on the iHeartRadio app, Apple Podcasts, or wherever you get your podcasts.
I'm Dani Shapiro, host of Family Secrets. It's hard to believe we're entering our 8th season, and yet we're constantly discovering new secrets. The variety of them continues to be astonishing. I can't wait to share 10 incredible stories with you. Stories of tenacity, resilience, and the profoundly necessary excavation of long-held family secrets. Listen to Season 8 of Family Secrets on the iHeartRadio app, Apple Podcasts, or wherever you get your podcasts.
Jodie Sweeten.
Andrea Barber. Hello.
Hi. I haven't seen you in weeks. 2 weeks, actually.
I know. 2 weeks, and it feels like it's been forever.
It does. It does.
It feels like it's been forever. I've seen you since I've got home from vacation.
Yes,
and then
true.
I was just like weirdly sick and sleeping for days
Yeah.
and not feeling well. No idea what was wrong.
That was bizarre. You told me
yeah.
about that, but you
Yeah,
didn't tell me
yeah.
the resolution. I assume you're feeling better since you're here
I'm
today.
upright. I'm feeling better. I went to the doctor and did, a whole panel of things and swabbed noses and throats and everything seemed to be okay. So I guess I just, I don't know, just needed to sleep for a couple days. But
The mystery
yeah.
illness. That's called
Mystery
parenting.
illness.
We all need to sleep for
it's
like
just
4 days
right.
straight.
Yeah, exactly. I COVID tested everything. Like I don't know what it was. But I definitely slept a lot. So yeah, I'm back in 2 weeks. What's been going on with you? Lose any more turtles?
No, I have not. I've been giving Franklin, our turtle, extra attention since I lost him. I should rename him Bubba, actually, because that would be so appropriate.
Yeah.
But speaking of illness, okay, so I've been fighting this cough for like 3 weeks. I had it the last time we were recording.
I remember.
I still have it. I'm not sick. I just can't stop coughing. So
Okay.
I have a nebulizer. I'm doing breathing treatments.
It couldn't possibly be our fantastic air quality here in Southern California. I'm sure that has nothing to do with it, nor, wildfires and things like that. I'm sure none of that is at all relevant, and it's just strange. Yeah.
No, it's so annoying because it's getting in the way of my everyday life. So we had back to school night a few nights ago because, Felicity's in her sophomore year in high school. And so I want to go visit teachers and put in some time.
Right.
So I made it all the way through 5th period. And then suddenly I'm in her literature class. The teacher starts talking and suddenly my throat closes up and I'm like I'm going to blow. I'm going to blow.
Right.
What am I going to do? Right. I can't do it
just
here.
that worst when you're like, right.
Oh, and I was like started sweating profusely because I was like paralyzed with fear. So I run out of the classroom and I start coughing violently in the hallway and like kids are passing by.
Right.
And,
And you're
"What
like,
is this
I'm
random
dying.
woman?"
Right.
It wouldn't stop. So I ended up going outside for fresh air, of which there's none because we're in the middle of a heat wave. So there's no fresh air whatsoever.
Our quote unquote fresh air is probably what caused the problem in the first place. Right.
So then I end up I'm like, let me find a water fountain, which I have. I don't use public water fountains. That's just so gross. But I'm desperate. So I use a water fountain. No, things are coming up. So I run to the bathroom. I end up throwing up in the bathroom, fortunately.
Look, we've all been there when you cough that hard. It's so awful. But you didn't do it in the hallway? You didn't do it in the hallway? That's a plus.
But the whole ASB.
In front of middle school. Can you imagine? Can you imagine? Oh, my God. Felicity's mom puked in the hallway.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. It's Felicity's mom, who's also Kimmy Gibbler.
Who's also Kimmy Gibbler. But that's
just,
it. You would never live down middle school for the second time.
No. Well, the next day, Felicity goes into her literature class, and of course, a kid is like, "Hey, did you know your mom had an asthma attack yesterday?" And so now she's not speaking to me. She's so mortified
because it's your fault. Oh my God! Right?
I'm sorry.
I'm sorry. Aren't they great? They're just.
It's not like I didn't do this on purpose.
Right, you're like, I'm sorry.
You.
I wasn't like, oh, you know what would really ruin her day tomorrow is if I suddenly choked and puked in the bathroom. That's really what I'm going. Oh, kids,
that's just
man.
Commitment to being an embarrassing mom. Yes, I'm that committed.
Right.
No.
Right. You are that. Well, I mean, it was a Full House episode, I'm sure. You know, somewhere in episode 4 or like season 4. Yeah. You were like, right, and then
I do feel like we're living in a sitcom, like most of the time, even between our technological problems we talk about before this episode and just random things that happen. I'm like, you know what? We are living in a sitcom. I'm beginning to feel more like it's sort of a dark comedy. I don't know. Sitcom feels very 1998. You know what I mean? Right.
2023 feels like, like a Farrelly Brothers movie or something, or not Coen Brothers movie. You know what I mean? Where it's like, although sometimes Farrelly Brothers, but yeah, just where you're like, this can't possibly be happening, and you're like, oh my God, it is. Right?
Yeah. No.
I'm so sorry though that you had that experience. I have upcoming back to school nights, so I get to go.
So it's your turn.
It's my turn.
Make sure you're not sick in the class.
Right? Don't do anything embarrassing. Don't breathe weird. I don't know. B actually turns 13 tomorrow, and it's her back to school night.
Oh my 13. Wow.
Yep.
Wow. That
officially
is blowing my mind.
Now a parent of 2 actual teenagers.
Oh boy, buckle up. It is.
I've been buckled
already
in.
started.
I feel like at times the roller coaster's been like just kind of trapped upside down. You know what I mean? Yeah. And I'm like, are we gonna get off? And they're like, yeah, eventually. And you're like, oh my God. And then it starts up again. And you're like, oh, this is great. It's okay. And then you go, oh, now you might be getting stuck again.
Like, let me off. Let me off.
Right. Let me off. Yeah, no. And it's just a never-ending Sisyphean roller coaster that just continually loops around.
So do you have plans for her birthday, or is it just back to school night, or what's going on?
Well, because it is the holiday weekend, we do have the 4-day weekend. So she's got back to school night, but she also has a minimum day tomorrow.
Oh,
back to school night. And then I told her she could invite some friends over to have a sleepover tomorrow since Friday there's no school.
Perfect.
And Friday, her birthday present, we did a little shopping yesterday, but her big birthday present was 2 tickets to Beyonce.
Wow, that's so cool.
Yes. So B and I will be going to see Queen Bee on September 1st. And I am very, very excited, as is B. We went shopping for our Chrome outfits yesterday. We are ready to do this. Yeah. And somewhere along the line, though, she heard that I got us front row tickets, and we were shopping yesterday, and I was like, well, it's not front row. She was like, wait, what? And I was like,
oh no.
I was like, I told you that. She was like, no, you definitely said it was front row. I was like, no. I said it is definitely not, but I think you missed the definitely not part.
Selective hearing.
Yeah, I was like, child, look, I love you a lot, but that is, I can't. No. Yeah, so anyway, we are going to be there enjoying ourselves and enjoying Beyonce on her birthday. So yeah, it's gonna be fun. That's our big
such
plan.
A cool gift. I cannot wait to hear how it goes, see some pictures. I can't wait.
Yeah, it's gonna be awesome. I'm just gonna feel probably very old and like not cool though. You know what I mean? I can already feel it. Like as cool as I think I can be as mom, I'm gonna be like, wow, I definitely feel a good 20 years older than a lot of the people here. And that's okay. Because I'm going to enjoy it.
Well, you are very cool for a mom. I mean, your kids might not think that, but I'm sure everybody else thinks that you're a cool mom. So
I'm not a regular mom. I'm a cool mom. No, yeah, nobody wants to be the cool mom. That's not great either. Anyway, speaking of moms, let's get to one that isn't around and talk about Full House. No.
Wow, what a segue.
It's a segue, right? That was no, and it makes me laugh because our friend Kim Moffitt sent us that tweet from someone named Lucy something or other that tweeted about I think on one of the days that the podcast came out, and it was like, I never really thought about the fact that like Full House is based on like a mom being dead less than a year. The kid's only 5 months old, and like just wacky uncles move in. Dun, 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 dun. Yeah, and I was like, oh my God. Yeah, it's very true. So
she brought up a lot of good points in the Twitter thread. And she was just like, this is really dark. Like, think about it. Like, these kids are grieving, you know. And I'm like,
and she's just sort of just never mentioned very often.
In between all the musical numbers and animals and amphibians, like there's grief.
It's really hard to fit that into the, you know what I mean? I much rather have a turtle on a skateboard. It's true.
Definitely. Well, welcome back, everybody, to How Rude Tanneritos. I am Andrea Barber.
And I am Jodie Sweeten.
Today, we are discussing Season 1, Episode 6, titled Daddy's Home. It first aired on October 22nd, 1987, and it goes a little something like this. When Danny hears Michelle call Jesse and Joey Dada, he knows that he is not spending enough time with his daughters and creates a father-daughter day. It was directed by Howard Storm, and it was... I don't remember Howard Storm. I don't know if you remember.
I remember, mention of the name, but I couldn't say much else.
He didn't direct as much as some of the
he didn't. I think
the regulars, like Joel.
It was that first season there were definitely like a couple people that just directed like maybe one episode or two episodes.
Yeah. Okay. So. And Howard is one of them.
Yes.
This episode was written by Jeff Franklin, Joan Brooker, and Nancy Ito. I think it's the first time we have female writers that are having a script here that I've written this script.
And it's funny too. In later seasons and stuff, I just you forget how much Jeff was involved, like in the beginning of this show, just had his hands on everything, like writing every episode, and it's crazy to see what it has grown into.
Love it. We have one guest star in this episode, Fabiana Udenio as Adriana. She was in Jane the Virgin, Summer School, and she's best known for her role as a lotta vagina.
Yeah, in Austin Powers, a lot of vagina.
I didn't read this before we started
Haven't you
recording.
Ever seen
so
Austin
I just now got
Powers? Have you never saw Austin Powers in the 90s?
I don't remember a lot of vagina. Vagina.
Vagina. Fagina. It is vagina.
Okay.
Thank you very much.
So this is still a PG podcast. We don't need to put the explicit.
There's not an explicit. There's a body part. This is nothing explicit, and it's not even that. It's just a very similar sounding name.
It is.
Yeah.
Okay.
But I'm still stuck. You haven't seen Austin Powers?
I did like 10 years ago. I don't, me. I have a short-term memory. I don't remember things, and I don't remember character names.
You don't remember a lot of vagina. Okay.
I don't.
Here we go.
Okay, here we go. We open in the living room. DJ walks downstairs holding baby Michelle. She's wearing another fabulous denim dress with boots. This must be her signature look this season because she's been wearing a lot of denim.
I really love the all denim, the like Canadian tuxedo moment, but just an all denim vibe with the cute little belt too. Yeah,
oh, it's cute. It's very fashionable.
And her hair, oh my gosh,
it's so long.
Was so long.
I don't remember it being that long. It's gorgeous.
It was, I was just like, oh my gosh, her hair is, down to her waist. It was awesome.
Very impressive.
Yep.
DJ places Michelle in the playpen, which she jokingly refers to as baby jail. Joey pops out of the alcove wearing a ridiculous combination of a button-down shirt with leaves on it, I think, and an oversized plaid tie.
Now, okay, a question.
Mm-hmm.
Does Joey just hide out in the alcove behind his bed and wait for people to enter? Like, is this a thing? Because he's made a lot of pop-up entrances.
He has.
And he can't, he's not changing in there, right? Or maybe he is. Maybe he's changed. But is he just waiting back there until someone comes into the room and then he's like, I'm just going to wait and it's going to be awesome. And then he pops out.
It's a little creepery. Like, it's like he's just waiting back there.
Also, that shirt and tie for some reason reminded me of the backdrop for either Mr. Woodchuck or maybe it was the Ranger show that he
Ranger
did.
Joe.
Yeah. I was like, I've seen that before, and except it was the backdrop for that. Felt very similar.
I stared at it for a long time because I'm like, it's not a Hawaiian shirt. It's something different. It's like
no. It's
forest.
just like a weird. It's like a background of a video game with a clownishly wide plaid tie. It's
a look.
It is a look. It's
a sight for sore eyes, definitely.
My eyes are sore.
My eyes are very sore after looking at that. He states that he's ready for Stephanie's recital, and he asks DJ if his shirt and tie match. Stephanie enters the room dressed in her beautiful ballerina costume, practicing her ballet moves. She's wearing a baby blue leotard and tutu, and listening to headphones attached to a large pink Walkman on her hip.
Oh,
Jodie.
Jodie. A Walkman, I add. Not a Discman.
No.
Because also it would be very hard. It would skip if you were doing all that dancing with a Discman. But a Walkman, like cassette tape. Look at me, I'm super cool with my Walkman. It was
It was huge on little you on your little frame.
Oh, it was like a satellite phone or something. Like the things that you see in like Die Hard with the giant packs that they're carrying around as a cell phone. Yeah, it was ridiculous.
Oh, what a sight. It was
ridiculous.
Peak 80s. I loved it.
Oh, peak 80s. But it was very funny because I come in singing the 1, 2, 3, 4, 1 and doing the whole dance. And I just found those tapes that I was telling you about of my mom interviewing me when I was 2 and 3 years old. And one of them, I'm like totally reciting. I'm like 3 years old reciting my entire Cabbage Patch ballet thing. I'm like, Tondu. So I saw this. I was like, oh my gosh, I did it in the show too. It's funny.
Oh, so okay. So that was one of my questions for you: is if these are your moves, are these your own moves, or did somebody choreograph this for you? Your ballet moves, or is this just a Jodie Sweet special?
No, it was just enter the room doing some sort of little ballet moment and hold your hands, over your arm like that. No, there was no.
It looked very organized.
No professional choreography involved in that one.
Oh, okay. We were very.
That was later years. That was later years when sparkly baseball hats were involved.
Okay. Can't wait for that.
Oh yeah.
And your legs look so long. You look tall in this scene. I don't know if you grew.
I always had like long legs. I remember Roberta and Gina in our wardrobe department saying I looked like Bambi, and also because I fell down a lot, so I had like just these very long legs that were doing something entirely different than the rest of my body.
And that hasn't really changed. Like that is still
no.
Legs
I
and you
came
fall
to
down
find
a
out
lot.
that's a pretty typical ADHD trait is falling down because you're not paying attention to where you actually are. You're like there, 15 steps ahead of yourself. So
it all makes sense.
It does so much.
It all makes
a lot.
It's all coming together now. DJ and Joey try to get Stephanie's attention by repeatedly calling her name before Stephanie finally removes the headphones and says, "I'm not Stephanie. I'm a swan who's about to kick the bucket." She punctuates the statement by falling to the ground dramatically, faking her death. Which is just, you did this so well. I can tell.
Well,
you were practicing this in your room.
I actually was practicing this when I dressed up as Snow White in Tot Lot when I was like 2 years old. My second Halloween, I ran around preschool and pretended that I had taken a bite of the poison apple and then I would faint on the ground. And some of the other moms were like, "Oh no, she fell down." And my mom was like, "No, she just ate the poison apple. She's fine. Trust me, she'll get up in a minute." And I would. And so yeah, I actually had practiced this probably far too many times. Just the dramatic fainting upon the ground.
You're a fake death expert at the tender age of 5.
Right.
I love
yeah.
it.
Yes.
Danny enters and apologizes for being late. DJ reminds Danny that after the recital, they need to hit up the big sale at Fashion Mart to buy clothes. Yes. Everything is half off, DJ says. And Danny says that won't save him any money because she'll just buy twice as much stuff. DJ is definitely a fan of this attitude. Uncle Jesse walks downstairs in a leather vest, leather jacket, and a bolo tie, and a chain pocket wallet. This is his version of dressing up.
The bolo tie and the silver accents on the collar.
Yes.
And so much leather. Just so much leather in the 80s.
I can't imagine how much he was sweating under those hot lights.
Oh, God. And that
with the
hair,
all-leather outfit and the hair.
And the hair. Yeah, he must have just been hot all of the time.
All of the time.
I'm sure that there's a lot of women out there just going, yes, of course he was. He was hot all the time. I'm like, it's John.
It's
weird.
John.
No,
John.
But yeah, it was a lot of silver accents. A lot of, the wallet chain. He was badass.
He was badass.
That was the vibe.
And I noticed his shirt was like a Tiffany blue, like a
Oh,
teal
yeah, like
color,
a robin's egg blue.
which I feel like he wore that color a lot. That and black.
He did. Yeah. Well, that and black was
That was like his signature color.
Well, I don't know if you remember, but the 80s, the like that sort of blue and robin's egg blue and like and hot pink, I seem to remember being very popular because it was the colors of the Miami Vice thing. And so I feel like it was like that bright neon-y sort of, I mean, and like that with the black was just very 80s. It was a very 80s color scheme.
It stands out for sure.
Yeah,
We know that Jesse wants to stand out. So
well, indeed he does.
Indeed he does. So the audience loves this. They give a woo. This might be our first woo. I don't know.
I don't know. It was
our
he
first
got a couple woos, but they were small. They were not.
They were small woos.
A small
This was
woo.
the lead up to later seasons where the audience would scream every time John Stamos would enter.
Right.
A scene
This
for the
was
first
like
time.
a 3-0 woo.
3-0.
You know
Yeah.
what I mean? There's
On the scale of
on the
woos.
scale of woos. Yeah.
Okay. The scale of woos. I love it. So Jesse grumbles about having to attend this Munchkin ballet, as he calls it. Joey shows off his attire.
Not
and
how we refer to people. Anyway.
Oh yeah, that's right. Well, he used that term a lot, Munchkin, to refer to you or Michelle or that was a term of endearment back in the day.
I know.
Jesse jokes that Joey looks like he's going to Don Ho's wedding, which
anyone out there listening today who's under the age of 40 know who Don Ho is? Probably not. But I didn't hear any hands being raised out there.
No.
Yeah.
Everyone's like cricket.
Everyone's like, yeah, but who? Right. He was a Hawaiian singing artist. Yes.
Well, that's why I had to look at Joey's
Singing
shirt.
artist? What am I? Singer? What am?
Singer, artist. He played a guitar, right?
Yeah.
Musician.
Yep, that's the word I was looking for.
Musician.
Wow.
I'm here to assist you, Jodie. We'll finish each other's sentences as we do.
Yep. Oh, thank God.
Well, this is why I had to look closely at Joey's shirt because I'm like, is it a Hawaiian shirt? No, it's like the Ranger Joe background. Yeah,
right.
I'm
but
glad
we didn't have.
that up.
We didn't have that reference yet. It is a statement, though.
It's a statement.
Do you lay awake scrolling at bedtime or wake in the middle of the night and struggle to fall back to sleep? Start sleeping better tonight. I'm Catherine Nicolai, and my podcast, Nothing Much Happens, Bedtime Stories to Help You Sleep, has helped millions of people to get consistent, deep sleep. I tell family-friendly bedtime stories that train you to drift off and return to sleep quickly, and I use a few sleep-inducing techniques along the way that have many users asleep within the first 3 minutes. I hear from listeners every day who have suffered for years with insomnia, anxiety at nighttime, and just plain old busy brain, who are now getting a full night's sleep every night. I call on my 20 years of experience as a yoga and meditation teacher to create a soft landing place where you can feel safe and relaxed and get excellent sleep. Listen to Nothing Much Happens, Bedtime Stories to Help You Sleep with Catherine Nicolai on the iHeartRadio app, Apple Podcasts, or wherever you get your podcasts.
Did you know dating is hard? I know. Incredibly new thought, right? But have you ever wondered what it was like to date as a little person, or with borderline personality disorder, or at the age of 70? There's a lot of different people out there, but we're all looking for the same thing: love. At Ace of Hearts, we talk with people from all different backgrounds, race, religion, mental disorders, physical disabilities, sexual orientations, gender identity, the list goes on. And we get a chance to step in their shoes on their quest for companionship. So come join an inexperienced asexual. That's me. Hi, I'm Maddie. I'm the host. As I interview some incredible people as we talk about dating from every perspective. Listen to Ace of Hearts, a dating podcast from every perspective on the iHeartRadio app, Apple Podcasts, or wherever you get your podcasts.
Hey, this is Annie.
And Samantha.
And we're the hosts of Stuff I'll Never Told You, an intersectional feminist podcast about anything and everything from social issues, gender, entertainment, science, fashion, and everything in between. And we're coming out with an audiobook called Stuff I Never Told You, The Feminist Past, Present, and Future.
We break down things like the pantsuit revolution, the battle of the sexes, the civil rights movement, disability activism, LGBTQ plus rights, the Jane Collective, and so much more, including the feminism of fictional women like Princess Leia and tropes like the final girl.
When it comes to the audiobook, one of my absolute favorite parts of it was the team of amazing women we got to work with and hearing their creativity shine through, especially when it comes to the soundscaping, the graphic novel bits. But they were just also invaluable in giving us advice and directing us.
Having a team like that who not only loved what we did, but supported it and knew how to make it better, 100% so much more meaningful.
You can order your copy of Stuff I Never Told You, The Feminist Past, Present, and Future, where audiobooks are sold, or get yours at stuffyoushouldreadbooks.com.
So the doorbell rings, and Danny answers it. It's a beautiful Italian woman named Adriana who says, ciao. And Danny says, Jesse, it's for you. Adriana and Jesse embrace and kiss, and Jesse says his catchphrase, have mercy.
Why? It's so, I am not a prude. You know me. I'm
No,
not.
you're the
By any
opposite of a
stretch
prude.
of the imagination. But it's just so weird that, like, these women just appear at the door and walk into a room filled with other people, don't mention anything, say hello, nothing, and just go right for somebody. And they're like, I'm going to stick my tongue down your throat in front of all of these other people and potentially children. And it's going to totally be normal because that's a thing that people do.
Well, and this is a weekly thing. This is a weekly occurrence at this point. There's a new woman, a new story.
I get that we're trying to establish Jesse. You have to, and in sitcom land, you got to, really be expositional about it. But, I did not, I forgot how each week it was truly a different
date.
A different date for Jesse.
Mm-hmm. Well, and this is before
great,
cell phones. Like, how are they finding him?
That's
like,
what I'm
how
saying. How they know where he lives? He's moved in on a motorcycle with a guitar with no case. Yeah. He doesn't have a forwarding address. He's been living on the road. What? How are these women like, I know where you are? Like, he might actually want to be a little concerned about some of these women. If they appear, they might be stalking him.
Yeah, if they weren't so beautiful, if he wasn't so busy kissing them, he might actually stop and be like, wait a minute, how did they find me?
Right.
Anyway, so Jesse introduces Adriana to the guys and explains how they met, which was skydiving. She asked me to come back to her place, and it turns out her place is in Rome. Jesse and Adriana exit to the kitchen to make SpaghettiOs. And Joey notes, what a life. He wishes he could...
SpaghettiOs?
Yeah, I know, right? Is that the only thing Jesse knows how to cook? Or is this an innuendo?
This is an innuendo.
Make SpaghettiOs.
SpaghettiOs.
Oh, O's.
That's all I'm saying. All I'm saying is, if I were an adult writing this show, these are the things that I would put in there.
Yeah. No, after that Sea Cruise episode, I'm kind of ruined. Now I'm just like looking for these things.
Maybe none of these things. And Jeff's like, what is wrong with her? I didn't mean any of that. But I also feel like, no, I would put some pretty significant money that if I were an adult writing like a family television show, I would put in as much stuff like that as possible.
Oh yeah, that was the best part about these 80s sitcoms is all those adult jokes go right over the heads of the kids watching. Yeah, but the parents are like, oh, SpaghettiOs.
Or maybe it's just maybe I'm a terrible human.
No, you're not.
Both could be true. Okay.
You're not a terrible human.
Right. Back to SpaghettiOs.
Back to SpaghettiOs. Joey says, what a life. He wishes he could just take off on an unplanned trip to Rome like Jesse. So planting the seeds here for what's to come. Michelle coos from the playpen, and Danny goes to retrieve her. He tries to encourage her to say dada.
The coo was a little scary, was it not?
Coo.
Didn't it?
Coo.
It was like, it sounded
It
like
did sound like she was choking a little bit.
Yeah, it was. If my baby made that noise, I would be like, let me make sure you didn't swallow something. You know what I mean? Instead of like, oh, you're talking. I'd be like, I'm alarmed. Anyway.
No, Danny just wants her to be saying dada to him.
Right.
That's his only concern.
He's like, are you choking? It doesn't matter. Right.
It doesn't matter. Say dada.
Right.
She is so close. Joey leans in and mimics a baby voice saying, dada. Okay, now get off my back. So funny. The phone rings and Danny answers it. It's the station calling to ask him to come in and cover the game of the week. This is a huge honor. Danny sees the girls overhearing this phone call and looking forlorn. He feels guilty. He's going to have to miss Stephanie's recital, and he feels terrible. DJ tries to make Stephanie feel better by saying everything is going to be just fine, and it's cool having a dad on TV. Stephanie agrees.
You know what? I could relate to like that whole situation. And you know, it was funny watching this episode is when I kind of realized like how much of the adult stuff I get now, and like that perspective, you know, the parent perspective, but about like, you know, wanting to be two places at once, working and also wanting to be there for your kids, but knowing, you know, that you're torn.
Yeah, as a working parent, you are always faced with those moments where you're like, I have to. I mean, it's inevitable that you're going to miss a recital or a performance or a sports game or just something. It's inevitable, and it's so hard.
And I feel like when we were shooting Fuller, even I feel like my kids actually had that conversation where it was like, "Oh, you're going to miss my such and such," and Zoe would be like, "Yeah, but you know, she's like working and doing a show, so that's kind of cool, right?" You know, I'm like, "Oh." Anyway, art imitating life.
Aw. Okay, next scene, we are in the basement, which is also the garage. Jesse and Adriana are making out on his motorcycle, of course. Joey walks in and hovers awkwardly. For an awkward long beat.
Creepy. Well, but here's the thing. One, like, he hovers awkwardly, but two, like, would you not notice that, feel that someone else walked it out? I mean, maybe not. They seemed very engrossed in what they were doing while precariously perched on that motorcycle. But, and was there no more comfortable to sit down and have, you know, it was...
I mean, I appreciate that they moved it to the garage. At least they're not out in the open in the living room. But, yeah, like, I thought there was like a chair or a couch down there or something.
No,
maybe not.
Just the motorcycle and Joey standing awkwardly. It was a little weird.
That was a long, awkward beat before Joey finally says, "Jesse, I need to talk to you." Joey sits on the motorcycle again awkwardly and says he needs to make some changes in his life, and by changes he means danger, more excitement. I want your life, Joey tells Jesse. Jesse says he used to be just like Joey, but then he turned 4. He ripped the training wheels off his bike and rode off to adventure. Jesse says he can help Joey, but he's talking about living on the edge, a life with risks. Is Joey ready to make that kind of commitment? Joey replies that yes, he is ready to be committed, which I love. Like, that's a lovely, you know, double entendre. So funny.
Yes, indeed. He is ready to be committed in that outfit.
In that, yes, I can only imagine his mugshot in that tie and shirt.
Right.
In the next scene, we are in the living room. Jesse and Adriana are on the couch, feeding each other chocolate-covered strawberries. Danny rushes in the front door and asks, "How was Stephanie's recital?" Jesse replies, "She came out, she danced, she died."
Oh, I mean,
what a summary.
The story of a lifetime. You know what I mean?
It's straight and it's to the point.
Yes.
Danny remarks that there is still a little time Danny remarks that there is still time to take the girls shopping. And Jesse responds that he already took the girls shopping. No problem. But Danny looks dejected. He wanted to take the girls shopping.
Have you ever taken kids shopping, though? It always sounds fun. Like, oh, we're going to have a day of it. And it just ends in like, will you try the pants on? Will you go try the pants on? No, I'm not buying them if you're not trying them on. Okay, fine. Okay, but if they don't fit, I lived through this last week.
Oh, I hate it. There's nothing worse than having to go to the mall with your teenager.
With your kid,
and they're always mad at you when things don't fit or they don't look right or what.
Yeah, Danny, I feel like, I get you want to spend time with the kids, but you may have saved yourself.
He dodged a bullet, in my opinion.
Indeed.
He did.
And a sale, too, would have been crazy. So many people. It's just, you know how the Fashion Mart half-yearly sale is. It's just, it's packed. Yeah,
it's like swamped. Lord of the Flies in there. Are you kidding me? It's just chaos.
Yeah, it's just everyone in San Francisco is there. Yeah.
So Jesse calls for the girls to come downstairs and model their new clothes for Danny. Adriana takes a hint and decides to leave. She says she's going to try on her new outfit, which is inside a very tiny bag that she waves in front of Jesse's face, and we get our second have mercy of the episode. Jesse then hops on the piano, which sounds like an organ.
It is an organ. That is
an organ.
It's a weird little organ, and I actually think that was the one and only time maybe that it was ever played. I don't remember us ever playing it at another point, but I do remember it sitting there in that corner in the window with, pictures and stuff on it. But it was just a weird little like mini organ.
Yeah.
Because, that's because someone in that maybe Pam played the organ in.
I bet it was Pam.
In the Greek church choir.
Who knows?
Yeah.
No, I was expecting piano keys and it was an organ, and I was very confused on what exactly it was.
Well, also it was the 80s. It was probably a synthesizer. It was probably a keyboard. Let's be fair. It was a Casio in a overly large box, like every TV that was out there. You know what I mean? It didn't need all of that. It just had it.
I love it.
Yeah.
So Jessie starts playing music and narrating the fashion show. DJ is up first. She walks down the stairs and into the living room like a makeshift catwalk. She's wearing a red sweater with an army green skirt and jacket and a coordinating red hat. A lovely fall look, Jessie describes.
Yeah, it was very, it reminded me, it was giving, like Junior Ranger vibe.
Oh,
you know what I mean?
Yeah.
With the forest green
like
and the
summer
red.
Camp.
Yeah. I liked it. It.
Okay. Those colors remind me of like Freddy Krueger. So your mind went to a much better place than my mind.
Well, maybe that's why oh no, summer camp would be Jason. Anyway, but I can get that too. But no, I wasn't. It was the baseball hat for me. It was maybe I don't know.
It was very cute, regardless, and
it was adorable.
Candace was so adorable in that outfit. She was rocking it. Stephanie is up next. She is wearing a multicolored, multi-patterned dress with a white collar, yellow socks, and I think pink jelly shoes.
Let me tell you, there was so much going on with this pattern. I looked like
there was a lot going
on. When you go to a pediatrician's office and they have like the border on the wall of the exam room and it's like a crazy circus and it's all primary colors.
Oh, yeah.
That dress was actually made out of that, because that is exactly what it looks like, is some crazy pattern on like a 1987 pediatrician wall border.
Yeah.
It's just like, wow, that's loud. I'm glad there's only a little bit of it, but I had a whole dress.
You had a whole dress of it. It was giving like Highlights magazine, like those find these objects in the picture.
Yes.
There was a lot going on.
I thought it was giraffes on it too, but I think it was something else. I couldn't quite tell.
I couldn't tell either. It was a little too small for me to tell.
The pink little buckle shoes and the yellow socks, because that's just everything.
You were feeling it. You were feeling it. You were loving it.
I love the comment, though, about the back pain. The way I'm walking, when I'm like strutting. And I think they looped that in because it sounded slightly different than the rest of it. Where it's like, and she's apparently suffering from back pain.
Right.
And this week when I was suffering from back pain, I was like, that's damn right, I am. Yeah.
It was so cute, but I could tell you were wanting to mimic being a model, but you had your hands in the worst possible positioning.
I was just like, I don't know what I was doing.
I don't know what you were doing.
Backwards, limboing.
So cute. Stephanie is just loving mugging for everyone and doesn't want to leave the runway. Michelle is up next. And she is wearing an adorable denim overalls dress with a pastel shirt underneath. And this is a look that says, hey, babe, it's the late 80s, and I am loving every minute of it.
Yes.
So cute. And then in an unscripted toddler moment, she grins and runs off. Like, I can just tell that the Olsens are loving getting to finally, like, be able to walk.
Oh,
and participate.
Yeah,
like,
for sure.
She is so proud.
And that little denim outfit was so cute. It was, but I kept wanting to pull it down every time someone would pick her up. I was like, we gotta pull the
the little
like such a mom thing where you're
such
like,
a mom thing. Pull her dress down.
right.
We don't want to see her little diaper. Danny is forlorn. He remarks that it looks like he missed a very special day.
Aww.
Yeah. Next up is the ultimate macho man, Big Joe Stud. To the tune of...
You were going to say Randy Savage.
To the tune of Born to be Wild, out walks Joey in his Jessie look, wearing black leather pants, a red shirt, a black leather jacket, and he's chewing gum. When I say my jaw dropped to the ground, he looked so good.
Gum, automatically, I'm like, oh, don't mess with that guy. He's chewing gum.
Right?
Yeah. And he had gloves, like...
Oh, yeah, leather gloves.
Leather gloves. Yeah. He was also...
He looked very stiff and very cool.
He was ready. Yeah, he looked... the leather hadn't quite worn in yet, and he was
Brand
definitely
new.
not going to leave any fingerprints, but he was ready to go. Ready to go.
So ready to go. Oh, he looked so cool. The audience goes wild. Joey says, "Shut up, punk." And Danny says to Joey, "You make Michael Jackson look tough."
Oh, boy.
Oh, man. Jesse brings Michelle over to the guys and says, "Michelle, you're going to be such a fox when you get older."
That was such a weird... That line threw me. I was like, what? Yeah,
Like,
I guess we've just learned that, like, that's a weird compliment to give kids now. Like, doesn't...
Yeah, you don't do that now. Yeah, it's a baby? Yeah, that was...
I don't know.
Whatever. It's just Jesse.
Right. But people, if you're wondering, don't make that comment now. It's weird.
There's a lot of adjectives to describe your baby, and fox is not one of them. Michelle responds by saying "Dada" straight to Jesse. Awkward. Danny is very upset. Michelle calls Jesse Dada again. And who was doing this voice? Do you think this was like a voice actor?
He had a baby voice lady. Yeah, that she would kind of stand off, I think, to the side and do it. I forget what her name was, though. But yeah, there were like people that sort of did the cooing and the weird little...
Yeah, because it didn't sound organic. Like, it didn't sound like it was actually Michelle making that, or the Olsen making that sound. But
well, timing a baby to make a noise on cue is also rather difficult.
Oh,
So,
yeah.
yeah,
Oh, it's
no,
impossible.
that was at
that age, it's impossible.
But it was not Dave. It was, I think, a voice actor on the side.
I wondered if it was Dave, too, because I know he can do all of those
Right.
voices. So I'm like, did he step in? Or okay, so they had a baby voice actor, and was she there, like, during the live shows?
Yeah,
just
she would
standing
be
off
there
stage?
standing off stage. And this is what I remember, is that she would be standing off stage with a live microphone. So that for live shows and stuff, because if you're doing the scene and the joke or the whatever requires the baby to make a noise in order to get the reaction, then you'd have to do it to get the audience's reaction. Because otherwise the joke wouldn't work.
Like,
And if the joke doesn't
has to
work, joke has to
right?
work. So yeah, you got to have the
Oh.
baby noise lady standing off to the side.
Oh, this is fascinating. I wish we could get her on the pod and pick her brain about it.
Right?
Like,
I actually, I just did a voiceover thing with an incredibly talented voice actor named Debbie Derryberry.
Oh.
And she did a baby voice while we were on this panel. And I was like, it was uncanny. It was crazy.
Oh,
So
wow.
there are some people out there that definitely can make that exact noise.
That's so cool.
It's pretty awesome.
What a credit on your resume. I
Right?
love it.
Baby coup number 3.
Joey takes Michelle and
Do you lay awake scrolling at bedtime or wake in the middle of the night and struggle to fall back to sleep? Start sleeping better tonight. I'm Catherine Nicolai, and my podcast, Nothing Much Happens, Bedtime Stories to Help You Sleep, has helped millions of people to get consistent, deep sleep. I tell family-friendly bedtime stories that train you to drift off and return to sleep quickly. And I use a few sleep-inducing techniques along the way that have many users asleep within the first 3 minutes. I hear from listeners every day who have suffered for years with insomnia, anxiety at nighttime, and just plain old busy brain, who are now getting a full night's sleep every night. I call on my 20 years of experience as a yoga and meditation teacher to create a soft landing place where you can feel safe and relaxed and get excellent sleep. Listen to Nothing Much Happens, Bedtime Stories to Help You Sleep with Catherine Nicolai on the iHeartRadio app, Apple Podcasts, or wherever you get your podcasts.
Did you know dating is hard? I know. Incredibly new thought, right? But have you ever wondered what it was like to date as a little person, or with borderline personality disorder, or at the age of 70? There's a lot of different people out there, but we're all looking for the same thing: love. At Ace of Hearts, we talk with people from all different backgrounds, race, religion, mental disorders, physical disabilities, sexual orientations, gender identity, the list goes on. And we get a chance to step in their shoes on their quest for companionship. So come join an inexperienced asexual. That's me. Hi, I'm Maddie. I'm the host. As I interview some incredible people as we talk about dating from every perspective. Listen to Ace of Hearts, a dating podcast from every perspective on the iHeartRadio app, Apple Podcasts, or wherever you get your podcasts.
Hey, this is Annie.
And Samantha.
And we're the hosts of Stuff I'll Never Told You, an intersectional feminist podcast about anything and everything from social issues, gender, entertainment, science, fashion, and everything in between. And we're coming out with an audiobook called Stuff I Never Told You, The Feminist Past, Present, and Future.
We break down things like the pantsuit revolution, the battle of the sexes, the civil rights movement, disability activism, LGBTQ plus rights, the Jane Collective, and so much more, including the feminism of fictional women like Princess Leia and tropes like the final girl.
When it comes to the audiobook, one of my absolute favorite parts of it was the team of amazing women we got to work with and hearing their creativity shine through, especially when it comes to the soundscaping, the graphic novel bits. But they were just also invaluable in giving us advice and directing us.
Having a team like that who not only loved what we did, but supported it and knew how to make it better, 100% so much more meaningful.
You can order your copy of Stuff I Never Told You, The Feminist Past, Present, and Future, where audiobooks are sold, or get yours at stuffyoushouldreadbooks.com.
And Michelle calls Joey Dada, too. Poor Danny takes Michelle, and it's crickets. She doesn't say anything to him. And Danny is so upset that his sweet little baby thinks that Jesse and Joey are her fathers. You know, poor Danny. Danny decides that he's been working too many hours, and that's why Michelle doesn't know who he is. I gotta spend more time with my children, he says. DJ and Stephanie walk downstairs and call Danny Dad, and Danny is thrilled that at least his other two daughters know who he is. He decides it's time for a daddy-daughter day with all three girls. Aw, what a good idea.
Sounds lovely.
Yeah. The next scene, we are back in the garage, and Jesse drives his motorcycle into the garage with Joey on the back of the bike. Joey is...
that garage set I don't think was around. Well, I guess it was around during the first season, but I vaguely remember it. I remember it being like off in the back corner and it smelling like the motorcycle, but it's so weird. Like it's such a... it's one of those sets that's not really part of like a lot of the memories that I have. I don't know. Right. I feel like we changed it into something after not too long, and it wasn't a set that we were in very often. But I do remember the Santa head because that was important.
Oh yes, that you can't. That's in your nightmares forever. You'll never forget.
Right? That. Yeah, it's just a giant Santa head with little tiny legs. You know, that's what in my nightmares.
No, and it looks like the eyes are following you, like those 3D busts on the Haunted Mansion.
Oh,
ride.
Yeah, the concave. Yeah, when they carve it inward like
the
that.
Eyes are just following you no matter where you go. It is a creepy Santa.
Like I said, follow that Santa and that weird Chucky doll in the living room, and you have an entirely different show.
Entirely different.
Yes.
So Joey is still holding on tight to Jesse as they dismount the bike. Jesse tells him, "You have to let me go or we have a lot of explaining to do to my parents." But that is a weird line because his mom is dead.
No, his mom isn't dead. His mom was just there.
Oh, his
but
sister.
Pam is dead. His sister's dead. Yeah.
Never mind.
It's all the family references between Jesse and his mom and the parents.
I can't keep these people straight.
I think the fact that we were all related was irrelevant.
Right.
Yeah.
That didn't matter. It was his sister. It was your mother, but it was his sister. Got it.
Right.
I'm gonna have to draw a family tree and have it like right here, on my desk.
Got it.
You're right.
Got it.
Okay, so Jesse closes the garage door, and Joey explains how transformative this motorcycle ride was for him. Jesse tells him, "You got the look, you got the ride. Now you just need to ride off into adventure." Joey is stoked, and he hops back on the motorcycle. Jesse stops him. "Nobody rides my bike," and he shows him to the girls' bicycles instead.
It's a very smart idea, by the way, to not let someone who has never driven a motorcycle drive your motorcycle.
Yes. Oh, yes. Jesse caught him just in the nick of time. That would have been disastrous.
He was like, "Hey, don't do." Yeah, I mean, well, no, he does eventually take off. But if Joey's never ridden a motorcycle, I'm impressed.
Yeah,
because that's
for sure. That's a big responsibility for someone like Joey who doesn't take anything seriously.
Who can't put his own. Well, no, he can't put his own clothes on because he can also dress a mannequin. Anyway,
but he just can't match. He can't match his patterns and his. That's okay.
He's wearing leather now. It's all different.
He's wearing leather. He's a totally different man. Joey says, "I want danger. I want adventure. I want to ride your pig." There's another awkward beat. And
Right,
Jesse clarifies that it's called a hog, not a pig. Jesse finally gives in and says, okay, fine. One ride around the block. Joey hops on the bike excitedly and almost rides away, but he forgets that the garage door is closed.
Oh
boy.
Oops.
Crisis is averted, though.
I mean, like I said, getting out of that steep driveway, too. I mean, it was, he did a lot on that bike for having never done it. Well, maybe I don't know that he has never done it before, but.
I think that's a good guess.
Okay.
He seemed so terrified riding in with Jesse that I think that it was his first time ever on a bike as a passenger.
Yeah, and I mean, I've ridden motorcycles on the back as a passenger, and I can definitely say, like, I wouldn't be like, yeah, you know what? I've never done this before, and I was terrified. I'm going to do this. Well, I might do that, but I haven't. I wouldn't now.
No. Okay, in the next scene, we are in DJ and Stephanie's room. Danny is videotaping Stephanie's cute feet while the girls are sleeping. Stephanie wakes up, followed by DJ, who asks, what is going on? Danny announces that he has a surprise. He is not going to work today, and it is Daddy-Daughter Day.
Yay!
DJ says, but wait, Sunday is your busiest day. And Danny assures her that he worked it all out. He'll be working on New Year's Eve, but he worked it out. He asks what the girls want to do. DJ says, take a cruise around the bay. And Stephanie says, horseback riding. And Danny tells them, it's your day.
Oh,
DJ asks if they can buy a big screen TV, a CD player, and a couple of mopeds. I love the reference. I love that a CD player is like a prized item here. Like
right.
Is,
yeah.
The ultimate prize.
Yeah. Not a Walkman, though, because we don't have those yet. No, a stationary CD
player. You
already
already have a Walkman. No. CD player. That's, aim for the stars. That is what you want.
Yes.
In the next scene, we are in the living room. The phone rings and Jesse answers it. It's Joey on the other end of the line. Jesse yells at him to get home. He's been gone since yesterday. Joey tells
Land
Jesse
before cell phones, right?
Yeah.
Somebody disappears and you're like, where are you? Yeah, now you could be like, I know exactly where you are.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yes. This is long before the Life 360 apps or the cell phones
right?
or all of those tracking devices.
Yeah.
Joey on the other end of the line tells Jesse to chill out, babe. And Jesse says, I created you. I can destroy you.
Oh, boy.
Next, we are in the garage, and Joey is sneaking the motorcycle into the garage. He thinks that he is safe when suddenly Jesse pops out from behind the enormous, scary Santa head.
Told you that thing was terrifying.
It's terrifying. You can't stop looking at it, too. Jesse starts yelling at Joey, I said once around the block. Jesse grabs Joey by his jacket collar, and this seems like a threatening situation when suddenly the girls and Danny appear, interrupting this angry altercation. The girls and Danny, knowing that Joey is in trouble, take their balloons and their stuffed dolphin souvenirs, and they exit upstairs, teasing ooh as they walk by. I love it. You better have a good explanation, Jesse says to Joey. Joey says, your spirit entered my body. And he describes how his hair expanded.
It's like Ghost. Yeah.
From one mullet to another.
Right. Well, it's true. Just Joey has a mullet, but it's just a slightly smaller. Yeah.
Yeah. Jesse's got the ultimate, coiffed mullet.
Every time I see John's hair in these early episodes, I'm just like, really, bro? Like that
was a choice. That was a deliberate
choice. And it was also, he really did have a lot of hair.
Just a lot of hair.
Damn. It's a lot of hair.
Those Greeks have just such good genes. So much hair.
Yeah. Well, it skipped Steph because, she didn't get it from her mom's side, apparently.
Oh, yeah. But no, it's so perfectly coiffed. It looks like a wig, but you're saying for the record right now, it was not a wig.
It was not a wig. That was John's 24-year-old full head of hair.
Wow.
Just a mop.
It was a mop.
Yeah.
Helmet hair. So funny. Joey regales Jesse with a story about seeing a woman dressed in red leather. He popped her on the end of his bike and did a wheelie, saying, have mercy. Jesse is so proud, and the audience loves it. Joey continues this story. They drove to Vegas, they checked into Caesars, and played the craps table, where Joey won $14,000. Jesse probes him. Did you, And Joey replies, yes, we got married. He says they took a jet to New York, they helicoptered into Manhattan, and started a revival of Broadway's Porky and Bess.
God, I remember when I did that one summer. It was just
another day.
I went out for a quick little motorcycle ride around the block, and then, Porky and Bess later. I was just... No.
But this story is so in the spirit of Jesse. Like, how many stories has he come home with? Like, going to Rome, going to Reno.
Miss whatever 86. I don't know why that one sticks in my head, but yeah, he's been He has been everywhere. So yeah, this was. I love that Joey though goes for adventure, but slightly, off. Like they got married.
It still has a Joey twist.
Right.
Yeah, it
they
still has Joey.
Survived a Broadway musical. Right. I love it.
It's not quite the level of Jesse, but he's trying. He gets an A for effort. He's trying.
Yeah, for sure.
So Joey says, "You don't believe a word of this, do you?" And Jesse responds, "Not a syllable." Joey finally admits the truth. He met a girl down the street and went to her house, where he did win $14,000, but in Monopoly money. And then he fell asleep on her couch. Jesse confirms this story by checking the mileage on the bike, which is only 1.5 miles. Joey apologizes for being gone so long. Joey says that no matter what he's wearing or what he's riding on, he is still Joey, and that's okay. Jesse agrees and calls him Big Joe Stud. Joey exits, and with a toss of his head, he announces that he's going to take a bubble bath.
Can you imagine, though, someone just showing up on a motorcycle dressed like that, coming into your house, playing Monopoly, and then passing out and leaving the next morning?
In San Francisco, no less.
It's just, what? I don't know. That's a pretty weird adventure, Joey.
It's on. It's so on brand for Joey.
It was great.
It's so great.
But I thought about it. And it was like, oh yeah, that's not. Oh, you didn't really do it. And you're like, nope, still random leather dude in a house playing Monopoly, falling asleep on someone's couch.
I forgot he's still wearing that leather
outfit. He's still in a full leather outfit in this person's house that he just met and playing Monopoly dressed like that and then falling asleep on the couch.
Oh, it's so great.
Yeah.
Next, we are in DJ and Stephanie's room. Danny is tucking the girls into bed, and Stephanie says, "I love Father-Daughter Day." Danny agrees, but reminds her that tomorrow it's back to the real world, work and school. Danny goes to
right?
I know. Danny goes to tuck in DJ, and he asks if she enjoyed the day. And DJ replies with thick sarcasm that it was the best day of her life, and even pointing out that she's smiling with her happy teeth. Danny says, that's not a DJ happy face. And DJ, exasperated, insists that she's happy, happy, happy. When
I'm happy, 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 okay?
Yes.
She would say that for the rest of forever. Tina would always say that to, I'm happy, 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 okay?
Okay. Yeah. That lives rent-free in my head. Like that delivery is so good.
Yeah.
So clearly she's not happy, 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 okay? And she gets out of bed and goes to her closet. Danny
asks... If I say I'm happy, 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 everyone should run. Just quickly go. Yeah, I'm not.
Just the nearest exit.
Right. Yeah. Uh-huh. Yeah.
Danny asks Steph to go get some water so that he and DJ can talk. And Steph leaves, knowing that something is wrong. And she says, if you need me, I'll be in the bathroom drinking water and waiting.
Yeah, she's like, I'm not an idiot. You need me to leave? I'll go.
She's 5 years old, but she is smart. She knows what's happening. Danny asks DJ, what is going on? And DJ replies, it's hard being brave for my little sister all the time. Like when Danny couldn't take DJ shopping, she was really upset, but she couldn't show it in front of Stephanie, or Stephanie would also get upset. Danny tells DJ that she is a terrific big sister, and no one has to put on an act in this house. What's really bothering you, he asks as he sits DJ on his lap. DJ can't quite put it into words. Today was so much fun, but she kept getting sadder and sadder as the day went on. He says, maybe you were sad for the same reason I was, because you didn't want the day to end.
Or
DJ
that
says
your mom just died.
Well, they don't talk about, you can only talk about that like once every 3 episodes.
That was the thing. He was like, maybe you were, because you didn't want the day to end. And I was like, because you're like 6 months out from your mom. Yeah. Anyway.
DJ's acting out a little bit for good reason. She's been through a lot.
This was not the reason that I was expecting. I thought it was going to go back to, I miss mom, Well, I guess maybe that's kind of what it's alluding to.
True. We understand that subtext.
She's being a good, I do appreciate that DJ's trying to look out for Steph, though, and not make her sad, too. It was a very sweet moment.
That was very sweet. I loved this moment. DJ gives Danny a very tight hug and says that she loves being with him. And these scenes, Bob and Candace just really nail these father-daughter scenes. I love them so much. Never get tired of them.
And I love the contrast. I mean, the contrast of the silliness of the guys and kind of their storyline, and then the really sweet moments of real connection and family stuff. Yeah, it reminds me what a great balance the show kind of always struck.
I was just going to say that. Good balance, definitely.
Yeah. I mean, not me. I have terrible balance, but...
Yes, always, since age 5. DJ says she feels better. Nothing was solved, but just talking about it helps. Danny tells her that it helps him too, and he promises that he's going to find more time to spend with her.
I love that message, by the way, when that she says nothing was solved, but it just felt good to talk.
Mm-hmm.
And it hit me that that was a big piece of Full House. We always said, and then everything was solved in half an hour, and there were some things that were, but most importantly, it just whatever it was got talked about.
Yeah.
And I was like, what a great message that no, it's not going to solve everything, but you got to talk about it anyway.
Mm-hmm. No, that's how I feel about therapy too. Is sometimes
that
you just go and just unloading.
Yeah,
you don't get all the answers in 45 minutes, but just talking it out that does wonders. That's a great.
I'm
message.
Still going to be crazy, but I will at least have a slightly better perspective.
Yeah, that's such a good message. In the last scene of the episode, we are in Michelle's room. Danny checks on Michelle and says, "You may not remember today, but it was one of the best days of my life." He kisses her goodnight and starts to leave the room when Michelle finally says, "Dada." Danny comes back in the room and fist pumps. Yes! And that is our show. Aww. That's such warm fuzzies. I love that ending.
That was so... Michelle was just like, look, I just needed a day with you, and then I'll call you Dada. I'll give you the thing that you want.
Yeah.
I think she's just very smart. She's like,
so
I
smart.
want to go on a boat cruise.
She's not even one yet, and she
Not
is already
even one,
knowing
and
how
she's
to
plotting.
work the system.
Exactly. And it was interesting. I noticed that Ashley in these episodes had her middle name, which was Ashley Fuller Olsen.
Oh, that's right. I forgot that that's her middle name.
Forgot that her middle name is Fuller,
which is really weird thinking about it now.
It's
because of Fuller House,
as in Fuller House. Yeah. It's anyway. Just a funny little side tangent.
Yeah.
Oh, and we didn't have our "Everywhere You Look" moment.
Let's bring it on. Everywhere you look.
But everywhere you look, here we go.
Okay,
I'm going to start saving these till the end so that they have their own, moment.
Oh, yeah, because they deserve their own moment.
They deserve their own moment. So, everywhere you look, if you look at the scene in which Bob and Candace are on the bed and talking, and she says, "I'm happy, 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 okay." If you look at the magazine that she is reading, it is a Teen Beat or a Tiger Beat or whatever, and it's her brother's face on the back of it. And I remember her intentionally doing that. And
you do?
it was really fun. Yeah. Yeah.
That's so cool.
Yeah.
That's great. What an Easter egg! This is a huge.
So
one.
that was an Easter egg. Yeah, because there was growing pains at the time.
He was huge.
But it was that was a little Easter egg in the show, and I was like, oh my gosh, that's a great everywhere you look moment.
It's so great because it's so small, and you would miss it if you blink or if you aren't paying attention. If you're folding laundry while you're watching the show, you're going to miss it. So, that is such a good look.
Is this our first episode where Joey and the mannequin aren't matching?
The streak is broken. Yeah,
I'm done. The
so
streak
upset.
is done.
In both times, he's wearing 2 outfits in this episode, and the mannequin doesn't match either of them.
We've just forgotten about him. He's just been tossed into the alcove.
This bothers me more than it should. Like, I admit that
it's also, it's very hard to buy 2 full leather daddy outfits. One for you and one for your mannequin. So
that would be very expensive. It's probably out of budget for Joey.
It is. It's not cheap. It's not cheap. I'm sure you can find it in San Francisco, but it's not cheap. You know what I mean? So, yeah.
All right. Well, I hope that next week we are back to our mannequin matching episodes.
Yeah,
I can't watch if the mannequin's not matching.
I need to. Yeah, that's my first and most important everywhere you look. Almost every episode is for the mannequin.
Yeah.
So, this was a really sweet episode, and I love, I love again the message that it talked about with, that sometimes just talking about it is enough, and just it doesn't have to fix everything, but just spending time together and talking about stuff is important. So,
Yep.
As long as the things you're talking about are not the recent passing of your mother. It's totally fine.
Gotta have boundaries.
Yes.
Yeah, no, I wish we could have gone along on the daddy-daughter day. Wish we could have seen some of that, but I'm sure the show's on a budget. They can't afford to go on location to Marina World or whatever.
5 episodes in, right?
No.
Can you imagine? And you never take a sitcom out of the stage. Never. It's always a terrible idea.
It's a kiss of death.
Yep, it really is. But thank you so much, everyone, for joining us this week. We hope you enjoyed another episode of How Rude Tanneritos. If you want to follow us on Instagram at How Rude Podcast, we are on social media, or you can email us at howrudepodcast@gmail.com. And we will see you guys next time. We have a fun and exciting guest for our next episode.
I cannot wait. I can't wait. It'll be such a special episode.
It really will.
Aw. All right, Jodie.
All right.
Until next time.
Bye.
Get ready for Season 4 of The Restless Ones, an original podcast presented by T-Mobile for Business and iHeartRadio. Join me as I sit down for in-depth discussions with the people at the intersection of technology and business. You'll learn how each of these leaders is building a bridge to what's next and leveraging transformative technologies like 5G to create a more connected and meaningful future today. Listen to The Restless Ones, available on the iHeartRadio app, Apple Podcasts, or wherever you listen to podcasts.
I'm the Wizard of Oz. I'm the one making everything happen.
Real Housewife of Salt Lake City star Jen Shaw is running the scam of the century.
I remember one time Stuart lost like about 8 million. Jen was very upset and she came down to the office late at night with Coach, yelling and screaming at him, asking him where their money is.
Listen to Queen of the Con, Season 4, The Unreal Housewife, on the iHeartRadio app, Apple Podcasts, or wherever you get your podcasts.
I'm Dani Shapiro, host of Family Secrets. It's hard to believe we're entering our 8th season, and yet we're constantly discovering new secrets. The variety of them continues to be astonishing. I can't wait to share 10 incredible stories with you. Stories of tenacity, resilience, and the profoundly necessary excavation of long-held family secrets. Listen to Season 8 of Family Secrets on the iHeartRadio app, Apple Podcasts, or wherever you get your podcasts.